Hi everyone, this is Akshat, and we have been talking a lot about prompt engineering and LLMs for the last few weeks. And today we have a very esteemed guest with us. Meet Christy from Bluehour, and I personally know him for some time now. And we have been discussing some few important tips and tricks in the field of AI, LLMs, and ever emerging prompt engineering. So yeah, let's hear from him now. Christy, off to you. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Akshat. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this time. And hi everyone, myself Christy, like Akshat mentioned, I am running a startup called Bluehour Technologies. We are based out of Cochin, Kerala, and we are a generative AI or AI-based company, which provides a product cataloging solution for online sellers. So I will quickly give an idea about what we are doing and what are the services that our company provides. Like I said, Bluehour is a product cataloging solution. So I believe that you all buy things from online, right? You must be buying something from Amazon, Mindra, Flipkart, or we have countless number of online platforms are available right now. And you all know how important the product photos and the details for online sellers. In one of my recent blogs, also, I have explained the importance of accurate product information and product image, media, etc. Like how important these informations are relevant for the sellers as well as the buyers like us. So it is a big headache to online sellers as well as marketplace companies uh, to get the right information at the right time with the right cost and right time. So for online sellers, they need to hire, I would say, professional photographers to take the photos of their product. They need graphic designers to create good quality visuals for showcasing their products in different marketplaces or their social media handles, etc. And they need some content writers for creating the product description, like one-liner, SEO-friendly descriptions, and even for images, you must be knowing about the alt text, etc., which all helps the SEO. So they need different peoples like a professional photographer may be required, a graphic designer may be required, or a content writer might be required. So this is a very heavy process for online sellers. And when it comes to marketplace, we all know different marketplaces like say Amazon or Flipkart. So multiple, say thousands of people are selling across these platforms. So the marketplace companies like Amazon or Flipkart have some issues in getting a consistency across different sellers. Like I'm assuming someone is selling a fashion accessories, some another person is also selling the fashion accessories, but the description, product photos are may not be so consistent each other. So this is one problem with overall branding and consistency of that platform. So these are the problems that we would like to solve. And we are solving these problems by providing an end-to-end product cataloging solution. So when I talked to Akshat about the product, he was very interested in our product since it has a lot of AI components. So we extensively using generative AI for generating and enhancing the product photos and product content such as title, description, specifications, etc. So I would like to add one more thing. Like Akshat mentioned, LLMs, we use LLMs, but along with that, we have a generative AI segment which enables the photography part, which means the image generation using generative AI. So we are equally using both the image and text for serving our customers. And we leverage the text and image based generative AI techniques, like I said, and we have in-house advanced AI models also for delivering the solution. So this is an overall idea about Bluehour, and I'm heading the technology. So I'm being the CTO of the company. So since I have around 6 to 7 years of experience in machine learning and AI, we started it like 2 years back, and it's performing well. And I'm, like I said, heading the technology, building different generative AI and non-generative AI, machine learning, deep learning, etc. models for delivering the right solution to the customers. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Christy,
pretty much about the company and my profile. Yeah.
yeah. So Christy, that was a great introduction. So now we'll dig deep. So you mentioned you are using at various steps in form of various features in your app. So
Right.
you are using AI and LLMs equally.
Exactly.
Can you go a bit depth into like one of those features? Like how did you think of like okay, this feature is something I should provide to my user or something? So how do you think of that?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, we are primarily focusing on the online sellers and the marketplace companies. So we are solving their problem.
Hmm.
Like I said, we have different AI modules. So I will say what are the modules, or maybe I will focus on a couple of modules that we are having right now. So, assume how people will take the photos. So, like I said before, during my introduction, they need to hire a professional photographer. He or she will set up a studio setup, or maybe set up a 1 or 2 day of uh, shooting schedule, and the photos is being taken. That is what usually happens. So we are providing a plugin as in it's a software development kit which has a camera plugin within. So, like, we all have smartphones these days. Like, I mean, most of the people will have even iPhone, or maybe high-end phones, or even a nominal Android phone will have a good quality of camera, right? So we are taking leverage of that quality of camera by providing some AI modules to that camera as a plugin. So assume, someone is selling shoes or some kind of food waste. So we can automatically identify the product from the visual itself. Once that person is opened our camera, and he or she is focusing that shoe within our camera plugin, we'll be able to identify what sort of object it is. It's a shoe, or if it's a sandal, or even if it's a shoe, it's like a formal shoe or casual shoe. So identifying that, which definitely we have an AI module. But once it's being identified, we will be providing the suggestion images, like what should be the best angle for a shoe, and what should be the best positioning, best angle, from which position you have to shoot the photos, like that. It's more of like an end-to-end guidance that we are providing. It's just because once we have an AI module to identify the product, and we have thousands of repositories available for providing the suggestions. Based on that suggestion, the user will be taking the photos. So that is the primary part of our solution, which enables the user to take the photos without any hassle. They don't need any professional photographers. And even with photos, even with mobile cameras, they need not to be a professional. They don't want the aesthetics of taking photos. By following the guidance, which is definitely like a boon of AI, following the guidance, they can take good quality photos. So that is one primary part of the solution.
Okay. Christy, thank you for it. So now for people who want to enter this field, can you give a brief
Mhm.
about like how huge is your AI team size and what kind of profile of people working in your AI team is right now?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, we started in 2021 second half. It's almost 2 years right now. So we started as a very small team. Initially, we were only the co-founders in the team. And like I said, being the CTO, I was heading the technology. I was initially building the machine learning AI modules.
Mhm.
Later, we have people onboarded to our team. So we have two interns. We started they started like interns. They were pass out students. They had some experience with some other technologies, but they were familiar with Python in terms of the language, but they were not exposed to machine learning or deep learning, like technology as such. But
Okay.
they are very enthusiastic in terms of learning new stuffs and all. So I have to have a chat with them. I had chat with multiple people, so I narrowed down to these two people, and they joined as freshers. So the very beginning, I would say patience is the key, and continuous learning is the key, because during the very beginning days, their responsibility was more of like annotating the data, because we had a very niche segment, like I said, the product photography, and within the product photography, we are more focusing into fashion related, like fashion apparels, footwears, etc., etc. So we need to annotate the data, which is a very, if you're familiar with the operations, it must be a very monotonous, repeating, boring job, I would say, in the very beginning. But they have that patience, or they have the urge of doing that, so that they started with the data annotations. Once they did the annotations, they have a good understanding about the data sets, and we already have some machine learning models ready at that time. Not very machine learning, but it's a deep learning model. So they started checking the codes and using the data, new data to that system. So they started kind of actually doing the hands-on, and it's more of like a transition from a newbie to the system, data annotation, identifying the code bases, start training themselves. And right now they are very experts, with a 2 year of experience. And if you're talking about the team, we are a team, 3-member team right now. Like, I mean, I am heading the technology, and we have 2 people for dedicated for AI, and we have a couple of people helping our team. Like, I mean, in a freelance manner. Like, I mean, since I said I have around 6 years experience, I have a lot of contacts and networks in between. So people coming and helping us in a very friendly manner. So that is something happening. But if you are really wanted to get into the segment, or if you are looking for being an expert in AI or machine learning or any of the in this kind of technologies, I would say, uh, in terms of the language knowledge and everything, yeah, definitely Python is one of the key point. But it's not limited to Python. In some extensions, we need to extend ourselves to C or C++ according to the requirement and all. But in general, Python will be a key point. And apart from that, like, I mean, it has lot of things. Like, I mean, it's not just any software development. Like, I mean, if you have a use case, you can simply create a solution if you have the programming knowledge. But that's not the case for any machine learning or AI kind of activities. There is a huge gap of mathematics and statistics in between. Understanding the machine learning or deep learning models, or even a small neural network, we have to sit down, we have to read a lot of papers, documents, blogs, etc., and identifying and understanding different models, algorithms. So that is a different game, I would say, altogether, comparing to software development and data science or AI ML technique. So that patience is the key, and the ability or the urge to learn continuously is something will definitely help you to be a good AI person or AI resource if you spend time and if you have the patience. Yeah, that's my takeaway
Yeah,
on this, I would say.
yeah, great. So, just to summarize for everyone, one should not be fearful about entering into AI. That is not a voodoo right now. And yeah, you can just have a understand the basics of Python, and with the strong LLM models, you can give it a try and become expert in this field in few years. Yeah, so next point. So, Chrissy, so there is another thing which is very much prominent here. So there is two ways: prominent prompt engineering versus LLM
Mhm.
fine tuning. So, which one is working for you? Because as you mentioned, you have worked on various projects and everything. So right now, with your
Right.
experience, like which is more powerful, like prompt engineering versus LLM fine
Yeah.
tuning?
So yeah, I would tell you a situation what
Yeah.
we usually face.
Okay.
So it's more directly to image generation than LLM, but altogether it's quite similar in
Yeah,
space
model
because
fine.
both are generative AI. Both are
Yeah.
generative AI.
Yeah.
So like I said, we have customers as online sellers or e-commerce sellers. So we cannot insist them to write very fine-tuned or furnished prompts. We are not expecting like very fine-tuned prompts from their end. For example, like, I mean, like I said, the photography part, we used to take photos using cameras as in mobile camera, so which must be in their room, or like, I mean, in their room or their office space, wherever. But we need to place that product into different spaces according to the requirement. Assume like if it's a beach wear or something, someone is wearing the beach wear and we are taking the photos in an office room or a inside studio. We need to place them in a beach or somewhere near to that sea field, right? So we will be generating such backgrounds automatically. That's how the generative AI helps in product photography. So we need to provide the prompts, like, I mean, this person wearing a blue beachside shirt should be standing in front of sea or maybe on a rock, something like that. So it's a very long process. Like, I mean, there is a lot of fine tuning is required in terms of prompting, but that is may not be the case as the customers. Like, I mean, we want to minimize the effort from the customer. I cannot ask the customer to write a big
Yeah.
sentence to create an image. So
Yeah.
it's like more of like we are providing them suggestions from our end. It's more of like a middleware, I would say. This middleware will identify some important aspects. So we will identify, okay, this is a shirt, this is a beach shirt. So must be the theme must be something around beach or something like that, outdoor, something like that. So we are providing suggestions, the theme suggestions. So for this particular image, the theme suggestion will be like outdoor, beach, etc., etc., etc. So the front end or the customer just wanted to choose the theme, and within the theme again we have sub themes, like, I mean, photorealistic or what to say, characteristics. So I mean, we can provide the characteristics. It's more of like just clicking the user I mean, the user just want to click and choose. They don't want to write the prompts. So it's not directly part of prompt engineering, but I would say this is a middleware that helps a lot for us, not in terms of developing good results, but for the customer also. They are reasoning their job by not typing anything, just clicking different tabs as in different menus. So that is something really required when we are facing to end customer. We cannot expect people to write everything as a prompt engineer do. So that is the job. Like, I mean, being
Yeah.
a prompt engineering in that context, minimizing the context or simplifying the context to the end user by providing as much as configurations and information from the backend, or being a middleware in that. And this middleware defines the prompt, and that is being fed to our backend machine as in the generative AI engine, so which will provide a very good result. So this is one part. And the LLM or the model fine tuning is always required. Like, I mean, as we grow, like, I mean, we have different flavors right now. OpenAI provides a lot of generative AI stuff, right? But
Yeah.
like, I mean, whenever we go for very niche use cases, I'm not talking about we people asking some doubts on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is a very generic space. So
Yes.
we don't want any, I mean, for the personal use, at least we don't need any prompt engineering or fine tuning of the prompts. Like, we can try out. But when it comes to a niche use case, we have to have the description generated in a professional way, which like a vendor is talking to the customer, not like someone else. Like, I mean, the language or the sentiments of that description, everything should be in a salesy way, but it shouldn't look like a flash sale or a very flat sales comments. But it should be sellable to the customer, but shouldn't look like sales. Sales as in, we cannot simply, like, I mean, blah 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 things
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
like, I mean,
Yeah.
very fancy stuff. That's not the case. But it
Yeah.
should be wrapped with gentle or polite words or a very professional words, but it should be sellable to the customer. So we need fine tuning. For that. We definitely get how to get the data. So that is one pain point if you are creating something new from the very beginning. But successfully or luckily, we have a lot of previous customers. Before we have LLM or this generative AI, we have the solution to enable them most of the tasks through our channel. But we
But
did not have the LLM at that time. Yeah, go ahead. Hello,
yeah.
you're saying something?
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. No, Christy. I
Oh,
was.
sorry. I think I received some echo. Maybe it's my echo. No problem. Yeah, sure. Sorry. Yeah, so I was saying, like, I mean, we had a lot of data from our previous customers, so that definitely helped us in fine tuning the models. But that may not be the case for a newcomer or maybe a new solution if we are introducing to the market.
Yeah.
The key point will be prompt engineering, or optimizing the prompt is the biggest thing that we need to do until unless we have sufficient amount of data for any sort of fine tuning or retraining of the existing models.
Okay. So now, Christy, as you mentioned, like you need to do, prompt engineering of the models and everything. So the first thing is that how do you go forward and choose a model? Like, what is the process you employ to, do a prompt engineering workflow? Like, how do you select a model? Like, how many iterations of prompt engineering you do? And how many inputs you test before finalizing, okay, I think this is good to go. So yeah, a brief inputs or insights on these framework which can help our audience.
Yeah, sure. So I would say choosing the LLM model and prompt engineering are two different stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
first of all, choosing the LLM models or generative AI models is totally based on the use cases. So, like,
Okay.
I mean, like I said, we have to create the product descriptions, we have to create the product titles, and we have to create the SEO based contents. So that
Mhm.
is what we are generating with the text aspects of generative AI. And comes to image, we have image compressions or image background generations, or changing the backgrounds according to the feelings or sentiments. These are the different generative AI use cases that we are having for images.
Yeah.
So it's a very niche use case for us. So even though we use some base models, we need to work on top of that LLM models to getting it very niche to our use cases. That is a model creation or a model fine tuning part. But when it comes to prompt engineering, like I said, even though we have the model ready, if we can't provide the prompts and the right format, we won't get the good results, right? That's a very common use
Yeah.
case. You must have tried with even ChatGPT. Like, I mean,
Yes.
you can ask the same question different way. So
Yeah.
it's more of like, I wouldn't have a number of iterations that we used to have, But since we are continuously improving the LLM models or the generative AI models our end, it's a continuous process in the prompt engineering as well. Like I said, we are providing the configurations to the front end to optimize the prompts from their input. So that configuration is keep on improving from our end. Initially we started with some high level themes. Like I said, for the photography, it's like a studio, outdoor, beach, something like that. It's a very high level classification. But later we added more combinations to the prompts for more specific prompting. It's not just outdoor. If it's an
Yeah.
outdoor itself, it can have different categories, like maybe beach, mountains, city, best. All these are different categories. So
Yeah.
this level of configuration is highly required. And I
Mhm.
would say this is not just a technical aspect. It's a highly subject matter related fine tuning is required, because right now whenever I am generating the images, the combination or the prompts that we are providing will be totally different to some another use cases. So assume
Mhm.
like you are creating maybe a comic face of a person uploading the photo, and you want to create the comic face of that person. So the
Yeah.
prompts is totally different. But in our case, I have to be very photorealistic because it's a product photography which will be showcasing to the customer, and the customer has to get the actual feel of the product. We cannot have a very jazzy, fancy images which has a delta from the actual image, right? Because
Mhm.
whenever they are buying, they will feel like, oh, this is not something that I've seen in the website, and what I get delivered is totally different, right? So that shouldn't happen, because that has a brand problem with the customers or the sellers. So we have to be as much as photorealistic, but along with that, we need to provide as much as combinations possible, because since they are taking these photos within their office premise or within their short
Mhm.
studio setup. So the prompting that we are doing is like, we are more of adding the configurations. It's a continuous process. I would say,
Yeah.
we had more than hundreds of iterations, but it's not finalized. We are keep on adding more and more sub combinations. Like I said, initially we have only outdoor. So right now,
Yeah.
assume like we have in the inside outdoor, we have multiple combinations. And
Yeah.
assume like right now we have in outdoor beach, and within beach we have different, a wavy backend or a hilly backend. You have stones, or you have waves, or you have even the feel of the beach is totally different, right? Indian beaches are quite different from Western beaches.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's the level of precision that you have to put in the prompt engineering. Then only you will get the exact results as the required. But in double quotes, that's totally according to the use case and the requirement. It's not just for doing the purpose of that. So I wouldn't say it's not generic, but it's very niche to the use case. But yeah, as much as levels of prompt engineering fine tuning is possible, and I would say it's a continuous process. We are also not done yet. We are keep improving from our end. Yeah.
Okay, so Chrissy, my next question is regarding many of us ask us about this. So actually, when you have, as you mentioned, there are lots of combination, and you are you keep on doing this new research in this for improving the prompts and everything. So when you go towards it, and before releasing it to your users, you want to test in on various inputs. So when in generative AI you get the output, let's say like when you have a lot of combination and you are trying out different prompts and everything across different inputs. So you want to run those prompts on different inputs and see and visualize all those outputs and finalize like which prompt is working good or which prompt is working bad. Now there are lots of combination of prompts and there are lots of inputs you want to try it first before releasing it to the users. So that's a lot of outputs to judge between. So how do you, what is the step for judging the output and deciding which is the best prompt out there? um,
Okay, so I would say in a production ready solution, we already have we always have a manual verification step is required,
okay.
because the one big challenge of generative AI is like the results is bit unpredictable all the time. Like assume
Yeah.
we are getting good results 95 types out of 100, but maybe unfortunately the 5 results may not be so good enough. So that can be a situation. Even though we do a lot of fine tuning, in some instances we might get some bit awkward results, because maybe the background is not suitable with the actual image, or maybe in the text also we might get some extra information, unwanted information, something like that. So that manual level of verification is always required in some point of time. But other than that, we have some continuous process like identifying the keywords. We already have the keywords, so the keyword to keyword mapping or something is possible. We have positive and negative prompts can be possible. Those who
Okay.
don't know about that, we have positive as well as negative prompts. So
Okay.
negative prompts means that information shouldn't be part of the generated output, and positive is the one should be concentrated on. So we will have a script-based system to identify whether any of the negative prompts are unfortunately available in the output, or any of the positive tokens or positive inputs are missing. So such level of generic operations or script-based, again, it's a Python script, I would say, script-based verification is done. But at the end of the day, we have a we have a manual verification for verifying the aesthetics of the result. Like I said, we have SEO content, right? So even I am not a perfect person to understand whether this SEO content is good enough to have a good hit in the market. So we
Okay.
need some, like I said, a subject matter expert to identify. But for
Okay.
image and all, we can look and verify. So assume we said a light blue colored beach background, and the light blue is not so evident in that. So that's a manual verification is possible. But it's a quite combination of both. Some sort of automation is required, and a manual intervention is also required. And we keep on doing this, omitting those bad results or the bad combinations of prompting. So it's more of iterating and fine tuning. It's a continuous process, like I
Okay.
said before.
Okay, so Christy, so there are a lot of combination as you mentioned. Most of the evaluation quality parameters which you check before deploying is mostly human based. So, like, and again, these are lots of combination and lots of output to check. So, can you give a brief about like what is the expected time one should keep in mind, like from ideation to completely getting ready the final prompts and everything. So, what is the general time it takes for you? To
Is it purely related to prompt engineering or a modeling perspective? I mean, can you just clarify?
uh yeah, can tell about both,
Yeah,
like model tuning and everything takes this much of time, and prompting and iterating on different prompts take this much of time. Okay, overall it takes this amount of time actually, so you
yeah,
can.
understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say, like I said before, the model building and prompt engineering can be two different things, but it's not mutually exclusive. So
Yeah.
it's inclusive also. But coming to the model generation and all, usually the initial challenges that we can face is like we may not have the right data since it's a very niche use case. So data collection, data cleansing, data preparation, all these can take, I would say, severe amount of time. And surprisingly, fortunately, we do have a lot of machinery systems are available. The cloud, everything is readily available right now. The training itself is not a very complicated stuff. I would say the activity of training, but building the model or writing the code is again severe. But I would say in my journey, or in our Bluehour journey, we took around 3 months to prepare the data, like that part, the data collecting, data preparation, data cleansing, all these activities took around 3 months of our time. And the initial training or initial modeling would take around, maybe I would say, one and a half months. So it's around 4 to 5 months of journey is from the very ideation to the very first model. I'm talking about the very first model. Then we started the prompt engineering part. So prompt engineering is again an iteration process. I wouldn't have any timeline, but we somehow able to provide good quality results in around 3 months of time from the beginning. But like I said, it's continuously improving again and again. But the rate of improvement is less. From 0 to 80 is bit quick, but 80 to 100 is very, very slow. So
Yeah.
we are more of in an 80 to 100 transition right now. So it's a very slow process, but yeah, we are improving. So overall, again, the same happens with the model engineering as well. So altogether, I would say if you are having some niche use case and you are in an ideation, including the data collection and everything. But again, data collection complexity is totally depending on the use cases. Since we are in professional photography and photo apparels online, we have a lot of inputs to get the data because it's everywhere available. But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're doing something very niche, again, you will get more time to collect the data. I'm not counting that. In a
Yeah.
general case, if you took around 2 to 3 months of data prep and data collection and data prep, maybe 6 to 8 months, you will get a good model, including the 3 months of data prep. I would say you will
Yeah.
have a fair, good model and prompt engineering done. That's what my experience. Yeah.
Okay. And now, Kishore, let's move to somewhat towards production now. Okay.
Mhm.
So like, according to you, what is the, main challenges or, main metrics one should keep in mind while going into the production ready LLMs or any Gen AI models for in that scenario? What are the
Yeah.
basic
So like,
this?
yeah. So one thing is the latency. Latency is the most important thing when it comes to LLMs or the generative AI. Like, I mean, if you are taking, say, 30 to 45 seconds of time to generate an image or something, that may not be the case, because when it comes to a large marketplace companies, they will be processing around 20 to 30,000 of images per day. So we cannot wait. We cannot make them wait for 30 seconds for or 45 seconds for creating an image. So that is one most important part. Like, I mean, we are keep on trying to lightening the models and all and getting it down to, say, close to real time, but that is not really possible nearby. It might take some time, but reducing the time as much as possible. And the second thing, we have to provide a lot of configurations. Like, I mean, when it comes to images, usually we'll have a default size, like, I mean, 1024 by 1024, something like that. But people need more of combinations. So adding such configurations is really required. That's not a metrics, but that is something really required when we are going for production. And other than that, like, I mean, it's a heavy process, right? And so, like, I mean, we want to omit the negative or foul results as much as possible. So that manual step, we have to verify, like, I mean, if you are giving a prompt and we are generating 100 images, at least 95 plus images should have relevant output. So that is something that we are keeping as a deadline or a metrics from our end. But this is not a critical or a generic metrics like we have for a classification or regression model. We have well-defined matrices, right? For a machine learning aspect, this is not that case, because it's more of like very unsupervised in terms of generating the output. So we don't have any reference to verify the results as such, I would say. Only the results is being generated, we will be able to verify that, but we don't have any precise value to compare the results. So it's more of like an intuition or a business level decision that we have to take in care. But in a nutshell, latency is one problem, quality of the image is one problem, and how much customization is possible to the front end or the customer is another problem. So these are the key problems has to be answered. I wouldn't say it's a metrics, but these are the key area to be
Yeah.
answered properly before going for production.
Yeah. So, Christy, we are coming to the end of it. So, one
Mhm.
more question. So one
Yeah,
is
sure.
like, you have developed your models. Your prompt is ready. Your output is coming in the testing phase. You tried
Mhm.
everything. The output looks good, but there is a different expectation from user when you deploy it on the server. The output which is coming at the user end. Okay, so how
Mhm.
do you track? So do you actually track? First question is like, do you track, and how important it is to track those output from the user perspective, and how do you track it? Like, what is the pipeline or framework in place to track the output in the production from user perspective?
Okay, so since we are having it as like a B2B manner, so they are processing everything in our ecosystem. And so we have all the results available in our ecosystem. So we periodically test for the quality of the results is being created. Periodically, as in very periodically, like in a 2 week or 3 week time. So we periodically verify the results. And we have a very, very active customer success part. So we are continuously connected to the customers since we are looking for having a long-term customers altogether for sure, not like new customers spiking up every month. Then we are looking for the long-term customers. So the customer success team is doing a wonderful job on this, like, I mean, addressing their problems, because we, like I said, there is an unpredictability in the results always. So in some cases, unfortunately, we might get random results or very comparatively poor results. So the user might have to have a chat with our team. So that is something happens in a very continuous way. Other than that, we have periodic revisit of the results, and based on the inputs, based on the feedback from the results, we have that retrain. Like I said, it's a continuous retraining, right? For the next iteration of retraining, we definitely have this feedback is also considered. So that's the flow. Altogether, we keep ourselves for being a market leader in this segment, as well as keeping the customer highly satisfied and happy to use our solution.
Okay. So and in general, if somebody wants to, have this framework at their end, like mostly we see thumbs up, thumbs down thing. So do you have any other like framework or how one should track user expectation or experience once they have deployed their LLM or Gen AI models out to the public?
Okay, so are you talking about any open source solutions if you are creating something
Anything,
like that? I mean,
framework one can think of to measure the quality of.
okay, to maintain the quality, I'm also not very sure about that answer. Like because I said the unpredictability is the
Yeah, yeah,
beauty of
yeah, yeah,
generative AI, I would say.
yeah, yeah,
So we don't
yeah.
have any statistical or mathematical approach is not very possible at all the moments. But like I said, when it comes to LLM for text generation and all, we'll have a mapping of the keywords or mapping of the inputs to the output. That is possible. That is something possible. But again, that is not. I don't really know. Like I mean, if there is any ready to use frameworks are available or not. But if you ask me, that such sort of comparisons is something that can be possible. But again, when it comes to images, it can be even difficult because it's a visual outcome, right? So it's a visually verified verification is something that I am always wanted to do because we are selling or we are serving this to our customers, right? So we don't want to compromise in the quality at any cost. So it's more of like we are very keen to verify and observe the results continuously.
Okay. Okay, Christy. So I think I'm done with all the questions. So if you have any last parting thoughts for our audience, like please.
Yeah, sure. So once again, thank you so much for having me on this chat. It was really interesting talking to you. Like I mean about the LLMs, generative AI, prompt engineering, everything. And from our organization part, also we heavily use these technologies. And to the audience, like I mean, it's the need of the hour. Like I mean, we have a lot of technologies coming around here and there, but the generative AI or prompt engineering is definitely the need of our. So those who are interested to get a good profession or get into this, go ahead. Because but the only thing is like I mean you have to have that patience, like I said before, and you have to have the urge of learning continuously because it's keep changing, right? Like I mean we are living in a space where in every moment we have more updates coming from. Yeah, and successfully, like I mean you must have seen like I mean the chat GPT start supporting vision from a day or two back, right? It's a very recent update. I don't know how many of you have heard that. So it's keep on updating on the technology, updating on the deliverables. So be at the top of the technology. You have to be very continuous or very urged to have that continuous learning. So that is one thing. And identify the use cases is also really important. Like I mean, if you're having to have some niche solutions, so altogether, it's a very good space and it's a very need of the hour right now. Yeah, I would say that's from my end.
Okay. Okay, Christy. Thank you for joining us.
So, guys, that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it yet to stay updated on emerging prompt engineering and LLM trends. Also, we'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave your questions in the comment section that you want us to discuss in our next podcast episode. And remember to share this podcast with anyone who might find it helpful. Stay tuned for more engaging conversations next week. Bye bye.